Endbringers, a tanky enemy with 125,000 health that spawns in the last wave of versus mode in high numbers. They are impossible to defend. Or, that's what we thought until players found a way to defeat them through sheer strategy. However, it was done in a 4v4, since each player can place 5 Zeds and can place 15 towers total. With 4 players, you can place 20 Zeds and over 30 railgunners, with the remaining towers being support towers. You can push the boundaries and beat the Endbringers in a 3v3 or maybe a 2v2, but that means progressively weaker defenses as your tower placement decreases, so you'd think that triumphing in a 1v1 has to be impossible. Presenting the airstrike glitch. If you wanted to taste the canonical firepower of the United States Air Force, then look no further. For years, a bug has existed that allows you to spawn dozens, no, hundreds of airstrikes, deleting even the most beefy of enemies within mere seconds. It has been highly gatekept until now. Here's a quick tutorial on how to use it. Number 1, play on mobile. Yep, unfortunately this bug does not work on PC, but mobile controls suck, so I recommend you play on an emulator which lets you use PC controls. Number 2, get an auto clicker. The faster you can click, the more airstrikes you can spawn. Number 3, place your airstrike on whichever enemies that you want to delete out of existence. Then use the auto clicker on the confirm button to nuke that spot into oblivion. But wielding this firepower still has its limits. Number 1, these airstrikes still cost money. If you want to spawn 100 airstrikes, you have to spend $120,000. Number 2, this can lag the game out badly. You will have to use this power with moderation to avoid that. And number 3, you could get banned by the TBC staff for abusing this power against your opponents in versus mode without their consent. Otherwise, you can use this power however you want. Now, back to beating the Endbringers. The loadout I chose isn't that important as the airstrike glitch will encompass most of the damage output, but I might as well pick the most powerful loadout I can think of for late game anyways, because why not? Huntsman is there for early defense and money, Phaser is for boss killing, Golden Commando is for DPS, the Commander is there so I can use the airstrike glitch, and the DJ is there for discounts. These towers aren't required, but at the bare minimum, you just need some solid late game DPS like the Railgunner to clean up anything that you can't spare an airstrike on. The next thing that was needed? Mumbai. Yeah, remember how I said airstrike glitching is laggy? Well, some servers are less laggy than others. Here's some gameplay from a server based in New York where I struggled to kill the Void and you can see the Endbringers doing whatever over there. And here's some gameplay of a server based in Mumbai where I killed a Void with no issues whatsoever. After using some super boring server manipulation techniques, we were able to make Roblox put us in a server based in Mumbai, solving our problems of lag. That took a long time to figure out, but there was another problem to deal with. Finding players who could airstrike glitch was very difficult. This bug was common knowledge within the Tower Battles Discord, but not many people bothered to try to learn how to use it. Another issue would be getting Midnight Roads. It's the longest map allowed in PvP and it has many curves, making it ideal for airstrike glitching. But if we didn't get Midnight Roads in the map selection, we would have to rejoin and try again. And try again, we had to do so many times. But that's a good time to tell you about another glitch called the double veto. Basically, if you spam click veto or use an auto clicker, you can veto twice, allowing you to choose up to 9 maps. And don't worry, this glitch does work on both mobile and PC. And so, my first attempt at beating the Endbringers while on the emulator was with Tasty Astral, a player who happened to already beat the Endbringers in a 1v1 before. So yeah, unfortunately this video is not the first 1v1 triumph ever. And this first attempt wouldn't even be a triumph, as I tried a technique where I turn my Wi-Fi off while airstriking before turning it back on, supposedly allowing me to spawn more airstrikes. And that ended as well as you would expect. God damn it! Since Astral couldn't play that many 1v1s, another player named Backroom stepped in, one of the first players who originally defeated the Endbringers. However, we were having some technical issues, as one of the common hazards of using an emulator is that Roblox might detect you being on PC and remove your mobile UI, causing you to lose the ability to airstrike glitch at all. Backrooms had a constant problem with this, and the only way to fix it was by rejoining the game entirely. Other times, we would have trouble connecting to the right server. On PC, you can check if you successfully connected to Mumbai, but no such ability exists on mobile, so you just have to pray that you got the right server. And whenever we did happen to get a stinking American server, our games would start to look a little something like this. Yep, lag everywhere. And Backrooms tends to spam more airstrikes than me, which doesn't help our situation. The lag will get so bad that the Endbringers just stopped following the path altogether and just formed the curvy snake of doom. But after a dozen or so attempts, I was getting the hang of airstrike glitching. See, you need around 278 airstrikes to fully kill an Endbringer. It was common practice among airstrike glitchers to turn your Wi-Fi on and off to spawn that many, until I realized I didn't have to do that at all. Thanks to that, I suddenly became the most amazing airstrike glitcher ever. But Backrooms wasn't a very effective airstriker, so he would repeatedly fail. His device isn't as strong as mine, which I suspect is the reason why we kept failing. And so on my final attempt, I did it with Cosap, a more experienced airstrike glitcher. After getting the right map, the right server, after 3 days straight of constantly grinding 1v1s, we were finally ready to beat the Endbringers once and for all. The strategy I use is very simple. All I do is just place a huntsman, and then I slowly upgrade him to level 4. I don't have any farms, but that's okay because Huntsman makes money and can be a replacement for the farm in this case. A level 4 Huntsman has around 8 DPS, and with a commander, it basically becomes a pocket commando. Cosap over here is doing the same strategy. The next step is to save for a maxed out Huntsman, which has 50 DPS and makes a ton of money. From here, it'll just start snowballing, you'll see. And here comes the boss 2, which just gets deleted. The next step was to get a DJ for the discounts. I went straight for a level 4 DJ, then went back to getting more Huntsmans maxed out. And yeah, from here on out, all I do is just spam max Huntsmans over and over and over. By wave 29, me and Cosap had dozens of Huntsmans laid out on the field. Huntsman is a very effective tower for defending late game, going as far as to being able to solo the boss 4, all while raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars. But eventually I'd have to bolster my defenses with some golden commandos, as Huntsman is not able to do everything alone. I'd begin preparing for the final wave by placing all of the late game towers I needed a little bit ahead of time. And Cosap would be doing the same exact thing, although his defense used railgunners instead of phasers. And so the last wave finally arrived. This was the calm before the storm, the time to reflect on my journey, all of the hardships, failures, and experiences. Well, not really, I didn't do any of that. I was more focused on waiting for the perfect moment to send a volley of airstrikes on the boss 3s and the boss 4s. Doing so would help me get an early phaser lock on the Void, as it was important to kill him early so that I would have more time to deal with the Endbringers. And everything got stunned before I could kill the second Guardian, isn't that great? Yeah, that is really loud. Once the Guardians died, it was up to me to make sure that the phasers actually lock onto the Void. And that isn't something that a couple of airstrikes can't accomplish. I could have used the airstrike glitch to kill the Void faster, but I decided to leave it to my defenses as, you know, phasers and golden commandos is already quite enough DPS to deal with the Void. You know, I was a little bit hesitant on releasing a video of this nature because revealing something as powerful as the airstrike glitch to the wider public is bound to have tons and tons of people trying to replicate it in-game. I'm hoping that nobody gets banned from abusing it in PvP, and I'm hoping it won't be patched until at least the update comes out. And, Planet, where is the update? Anyhow, with my golden commandos, phasers, and airstrikes doing hundreds of thousands of damage, I was about to finally kill the Void, and that meant all that was left to do was to defeat the Endbringers. Alright, everything's dead. I have 700,000, which will be used for killing Endbringers. Here comes the first batch. Oh yeah, we killed a couple. Yeah, the whole group just died right there. Airstrike ASAP before it leaves. And another nuke. I need to let that dissipate. Okay. Yeah, that entire group just died. Holy shit! That is insane. We'll strike this group. This is how it feels to be the United States, right? Holy shit! Guys are on high health in the back here. I'll just spawn in small amount of airstrikes. Yeah, dude, I fucking did it. Let's go. Dude, during that entire game, I had this under control. Oh, and Endbringer died off screen. Come on, he's almost there. He's almost there, come on. Dude, he's gonna get it. He doesn't even need airstrike anymore. Yo, let's go! Let's fucking go! This is our tower battles, bro. We beat the game. So, yep. That's a GG easy, bro. Dude, I wanna collect my... Let's go! We collect our winnings from a solo game! 1v1! Dude! Alright, I'll see you all later.